Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, depending on where you're joining from. My name is Alexis Gorton. I am the Global Alliance Partner Manager for Klipboard. And today we are delighted to hold a session with you and our new partner, Netstock. Now, we're delighted to be partnering with Netstock. It's our objective to bring best of breed technologies to our customers to enhance the functionality of our ERPs. And what we're seeing from the initial feedback is our customers are starting to see real value in Netstock and how it can really enhance their stock optimization, their demand planning, and many other features and functions. We're really excited about the future. We believe the partnership between Klipboard and Netstock is incredibly valuable, and we're very much looking forward to working with you all more to see what we can do together. I'd like to pass over to Jamie from Netstock, who is going to take you through the next stages. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Alexis. Just to confirm, Alexis and Sam, you can see my Netstock slide, right?
I can, yes.
Okay, great. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today, wherever in the world you are. As Alexis mentioned, we are new gold partners of Klipboard. We are super excited to showcase our software to you today. We want this to be an interactive session, so please ask questions at the end. Please get involved, and Sam and I are here to help you. Just some information and your presenters today, an introduction from myself. I am the account manager from Netstock, dealing with Klipboard UK specifically. And Sam is our sales and solutions engineer, a previous user of Netstock himself, so he knows the application best. And Sam will be taking us through a demo after I've just gone through a few slides. So I'd like to begin with telling everyone who Netstock is and where we come from. Netstock was founded all the way back in 2010. We are currently a global company serving around 2,500 customers, and we have teams across the globe in the US, South Africa, the UK, and Germany. We have basically 5 pillars of things that we do and we assist people in doing. We forecast demand accurately when it comes to your stock. We help our customers to reduce their excess stock, which in turn helps reduce and free up working capital. We help to minimize stock outs. We automate safety stock and show you how much safety stock to have for each of your items. And of course, it wouldn't be 2026 if we didn't have AI within our software, which gives you AI recommendations that help in improving fill rates and cutting costs across your businesses. Netstock delivers values across multiple industries, multiple sectors, from wholesale distribution to manufacturing, retail, pharmacy, plumbing, building supplies. If any of these are sectors you find yourselves in, we definitely think we could be a good fit for your business. When it comes to the actual pain points that we solve, we like to break this up into 6 separate categories of pain points. And these are made up of removing the reliance on spreadsheets that you're currently using to do forecasting. Pretty much 99.9% of any customer I've ever spoken to that's moved over to Netstock was doing forecasting on a spreadsheet. We help to get that cash tied up in excess stock, reduce it. We assist in moving away from frequent stock outs that you experience as a business, which lead to lost sales. We help you get more structured forecasts when it comes to your business and take into consideration items such as seasonality, promotions, and slow-moving stock. We assist in the difficulty when it comes to managing safety stock And we just remove how much time and effort it takes in placing orders and basically identifying what to order and when. We would completely remove something like that from your business. These are some KPIs and the ROI that customers of ours have experienced and can experience when using a system like Netstock. Our customers could see up to a 50% increase in their forecast accuracy, with a 70% reduction of time spent in spreadsheets, planning and forecasting. It's up to 25% reduction in their overall inventory holding, and a 15% improvement in their overall fill rates as a business. These are quite significant ROIs, and as mentioned, these are something that customers of ours have experienced. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, hand over to Sam, and Sam's going to get into the actual application and demo of the software, show you where the magic happens.
Thank you so much, Jamie. I will share my screen. Yeah. Could you confirm that you're seeing my screen?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So, classification. This is something that is quite difficult to work out, but it is at the moment that we plug in to your network that we analyze every single item and we break it down into product importance. And we do this every single day. We do this by item and we do this by location, having an intrinsic view of what is important and what our core products are. We do this with an ABC Pareto analysis, a measure of value, and then we look at velocity. And now we know that these items here are our core products. We can strategize around this matrix. We can rationalize out of the range. We can understand which items are our slow moving, our obsolete items, which ones we can really pick the low hanging fruit, get rid of, and which ones we should bolster up more in terms of the safety stock. However, Netstock does apply the magic to safety stock because we lay a level of safety stock to mitigate against any risks that might lead us to going out of stock. We lay greater on the items that drive the most amount of value to our company. And then we drip feed that down slowly to those cheap, slow moving items. And what happens generally in business, we have 1,000 items. Each one of those items, we have 2 pallets of safety stock. Whether they move fast or whether they move slow, we just place a blanket and then we find we haven't ordered enough and we've ordered too much at the same time, which isn't optimal, it isn't efficient, and it often leads to obsolescence and just inefficiencies altogether. If we can lay safety stock based on product classification, we will find that we've already started the optimization journey before we go through the rest of the demonstration today. Moving through just very quickly, there's a lot of visualization here. You can have a look at your stock outs. You can drill into the full report. Is this item out of stock? My managing director, he used to say, Sam, these items are out of stock. Why are they out of stock? I'd say, yeah, they are out of stock. It is an unfortunate situation. However, I'm only forecast to sell 5 per month. My minimum order quantity is 1,000. It's going to take, every time I order this, it's going to cause excess stock. Why don't I reduce it out of the range? And right there, you can see how very quickly I've been able to bring up a report of all the items are stocked out with the forecast, which allows us to strategize even further. Without even digging into reports, you can see how much excess, everything that is too much stock that's currently sat in our warehouses sits here. Almost £1 million of excess stock, but I'm only forecast to sell £81,000 of stock. So already, without drilling into reports, you can see this is problematic. Let's promote these items. Let's drop our prices. Let's do whatever we need to do to drive demand, because it's not going to occur naturally. That is already right there on your screen as a firm visualization. We then move to our dashboard. Now the dashboard here It is our measurement of performance. These are our KPIs, the KPIs that we have for every single customer. We have at least 2,600 customers, and for every single one of them, we have been able to reduce the inventory holding. And at the same time, we've been able to analyze where we haven't been able to fulfill demand in the past, which allows us to see where it's been a problem, and therefore we calculate a fill rate. We're going to reduce your inventory. We're going to increase your fill rate. Then there's two streams of cash right there that will just increase. Sales are up, inventory is down. It's a perfect world. But what we need to be able to do is action these. We need to be able to find where our problems occur. So it sits here in this column. This is our sub KPI of today's issue. Whether that's one location, whether that's multiple locations, whether that's a global view, whether you've broken that down to have a visibility of any certain category, it will sit here. And we're telling you right here, we have 2.7 million pounds of excess stock at this warehouse. At the same time, everything that is out of stock sits here, giving us a lost cost of sales. Incredibly hard to come up with these metrics. I don't know, just by looking at a spreadsheet, how much excess stock I have. I don't know what I'm losing in terms of sales, but we calculate that for you. And we even break that down further. These 5 items, they're the worst offending. Yes, we're losing £928,000 in lost sales. Just in these 5 items alone is half of that full value. Focus. Let's have a focus on those items and bring them back into stock. As I say, that is today's issue. That is the problem today. But of course, we're inventory optimization. We have imported lead times. We've created forecasts for every single one of your items. And we've imported replenishment cycles, which allows us to be able to see into the future. We are now the crystal ball, potential stockouts. These items will be at risk of going out of stock if we do nothing about them. Let's expedite our purchase orders. Let's increase our purchase orders because demand has since increased. We might not have ordered. Now we need to place the order urgently. Everything that is at risk of stocking out sits here in potential stockouts. Let's address these items. We don't stock out. We fulfill previously unsatisfied demand, which allows us to increase our sales, which not only brings more money back into the company, but improves our relationship with our customers and gives them more confidence in us if we are keeping those items in stock. Surplus orders, these items are the ones where we've ordered simply too much on purchase order. So now we need to delay these items, reduce these items, cancel. If we can, well, then we don't buy excess stock. This value does not become overstocked in our warehouses. And that's how naturally we start to reduce the inventory holding over time. They are the 4 sub KPIs working towards these 2 KPIs. And I can tell you as a previous user of Netstock, not only the visibility, but the actionable insights allowed me to be the best purchasing manager I could possibly be. However, the buzzword of the century so far is artificial intelligence, and it'd be remiss of us to not be investing in artificial intelligence. So you're saying, Sam, 372 items stocked out, 178 in potential stockouts. It's a lot for me to do as one person. What should I do today? AI opportunities allows us to see everything that's very important to us today. We now know that these 18 items must be addressed. Let's action these, at least these 18 items today. It's a list view of what needs to be done so the rest of the week isn't bad. We can filter by location, by grouping, supplier perhaps. Maybe you want to have a check where you're over and understocked, where your orders are over, where your purchase orders are late, where your forecasts are out of line. And then having applied that filter or not, by clicking show me right here, you can actually see what's led to this problem. We're out of stock. Sales, we're losing sales of 811 units, causing lost sales to the value of 14.1k. Once I've made this action, once I've expedited that purchase order and got it in time, once I've ordered an alternative from a supplier, well, then we know that this action is done. Happy with that, we move on. And so this is the list view of everything that needs to be done. But you might even be saying, Sam, I need a bit more insight. What led to this problem? Who are the customers who are going to be most annoyed? And what purchase orders have we got on in the first place? I'm going to analyze this one particular item. Then that item there, I can simply see that it's stocked out, causing me much lost sales. If I analyze this item, it whips through all of the current data available to us, and then it comes up with these actionable recommendations. This is a critical item to our company. We've got minus 6,000 in stock. We are losing 184 at gross product. These are the customers with back orders in place. When that stock comes in, fulfill these orders first. But let's expedite this order straight from our application here. We can simply compose an email and send away our expediting email right there. Those are the orders. That's how much we need to be bought in. We can send it straight to our email. We can send it straight to our supplier's email. You can copy and paste this straight into a document, however you want that. We are making more and more efficient the supply chain journey. But of course, once we've notified our affected customers, once we've expedited our open purchase orders, we must suspend the promotion that we're running. We don't want to drive demand for items that are currently out of stock. It just leads to a harder place. But now let's troubleshoot this. We've all been here before, if we're planners. Our sales orders, all 34 of them, have actually consumed the forecast. They've gone over what we were expecting to sell. That's led to this item going out of stock. And at the same time, our lead time is starting to drop out of line. Our expected lead time is now a lot less than what they're delivering in, leading to a stock out. That means the purchase orders that we placed aren't quite right. Bring this all back in line, get the forecast right, speak to the sales department about those orders. Are they true? Do I need to adjust my forecast today or for the next month or for the next year? Is it a new contract? Understanding that information with the visibility that Netstock gives you just allows you to be able to be on the front foot. So we're not now digging around in Excel spreadsheets, getting it wrong, and still losing a lot of money. If you can analyze, it's right there for us. Obviously, we are a demand planning tool. We've classified and we've ran through exception management. We also, of course, forecast every single item across all locations as an aggregate view, maybe by category, by filtering down. Maybe you want to have a look at items underneath a supplier, perhaps. Simply, we can filter down and see that granular level of detail. We forecasted every single item. You don't need to now have a look at your Excel spreadsheets, look at the last 3 months, add it together, divide it by 3, not pick up on any growth or any seasonality. We do that for you right here in application. And it's right here that we can use this information to see how our business is growing. We can use this information to negotiate with our suppliers should we notice an uplift in the items that they supply. But we can also tell you the items that are giving us a headache. It's the Pareto principle. Let's leave the forecasts that are performing okay to perform okay. They're doing fine. They're working well. But when sales comes in and exceeds the forecast, or when sales drop away because the customer's left us or they haven't placed the order, we'll notify that to you immediately. It will tell you right here the items that we need to bring back into line. And we can just drill straight into an item and we can change the forecast, which means the replenishments will uplift. And right here, we can now see, once I've amended that forecast, we will be able to see literally at the click of a button, I apply my new forecast. Let's have a check. We're back in line now. We are no longer going to go out of stock because we've increased our forecast for this line item, so our replenishments will follow. Now, Of course, there's so much more. We are limited to time, so I would beg you to reach out to us if you have any, if you want to speak to us further. We can leave comments why we've left, why we've made a forecast adjustment. However, very cheesily of me, Netstock is the name, safety stock is the game, target fill, replenishment cycle, lead time. These are all inputs into any safety stock calculation, which perhaps you might be doing today. But what we can't do is we can't measure forecast accuracy, and we can't measure how our suppliers are delivering badly or well. Whatever that is leading to is a risk. So in terms of forecast accuracy, if we pick up on a trend of over or under forecasting, we simply adjust the stock. You can see sales dropped away in March. We never adjusted the forecast. So we've actually minused 1 day of overstock to stop this over forecasting, driving excess stock. We're optimizing what we need to buy. If we have suppliers, and suppliers are suppliers, right? We think the delivery is coming on day 1, but it comes on day 10. You eat into stock, into safety stock. You've gone into a stock out position. Nobody's happy. Sales are jumping up and down. Procurement is stressed. The managing director, he's losing money. What we've done is we've buffered against that. 45 days is what we're planning on. Out of those 26 deliveries, we've actually analyzed a 56-day lead time. That's what they're actually delivering in. And then we buffer against that. We add 11 days back in to make sure that those late deliveries don't lead to a stock out. The stock will be in place because of that poor supplier performance. And being a procurement guy myself, this information I used to negotiate, to build my relationships with my supplier. It's a critical item. You've delivered 17 times late. What's going on? Why are you doing this? You're leading me to having to add more safety stock into the equation when I shouldn't be having to. These are the conversations that this tool used to drive when I was using it in a procurement view. But of course, switching to another item now, but of course, we don't buy days of stock. Once we've calculated the stock, we've got 17 days. Our algorithms now come in and we analyze. If we have a bill of material, it's consumption. If we distribute this item, it's consumption. If we sell this item, it's consumption. All of that information, especially on complex supply chains, needs a good focus on. It needs to be able to be seen. We bring that all in and calculate it for you accurately right there. We use that total forecast to convert days into units. Lead time plus safety stock, the reorder point. Add in our replenishment cycle, gives us our order up to. This here is a dynamic min, max, and reorder point. No longer now do you need to classify your items. No longer now do you need to forecast all of your items. No longer now do you need to create a min, max, and reorder point, because we do it for you. And then we use our inventory position here to calculate exactly what needs to be ordered. We actually create you the optimum order quantity, and that's it right here. Of course, algorithms are applied. So as you can see right here, this is our projection. This projection has picked up on seasonality, which means when we know this is a seasonal item, we ramp up the inventory in our periods of high demand. But when we don't need the inventory in our troughs, we make sure to ramp it down, making sure we're fully optimized. This here is the variable min-max level looking out into the future. For any manufacturers in the room, we've got you covered as well. We have many manufacturers upon our books. This is the finished good. This is the recipe of the items that go into making the finished good. We can hover over a line and see the ratio. We can see the inventory position of every single item in that chain. However, the complexity doesn't stop there. This one particular item, I distribute it, I sell it by itself, and I use it in a production process. Incredibly difficult to manage and get correct. Let a computer do the hard work. This one particular product is in many subcomponents and finished goods as well. It's in multiple bill of materials And then at a click of a button, you are able to see your bill of material forecast for every single item tagged to these finished goods. We have our requirements, which can be broken down into weekly buckets, because we understand that machines are usually run on a weekly basis, which allows us to be able to efficiently create works orders. One of my favorite sides of our application is the ability, therefore, to be able to, oh, wrong place. Have a look at every single one of our suppliers. These are every single one of our suppliers, and we've brought them in from your ERP, and we can see here that this supplier here, well, we're expecting them to deliver in 100 days. We've raised 15 purchase orders so far, and out of those 15 orders, they're actually delivering in 120 days. Perfect time to have a good, decent conversation and sit down with them. We've brought you on board as a new supplier recently. We've given you 15 purchase orders. However, you're delivering late. You're costing us money. So let's do something about that. Driving a relationship, driving these conversations, having that visibility ahead of time allows you to effectively manage your performance, your supplier performance ratings. If we have a look at this one particular supplier performance, we can have a look at what we've historically spent on this supplier, 1.4 million. For any CFOs in the room, we are now able to see what we're going to be able to spend in the future, which allows us to cash flow forecast by supplier, which can be aggregated all the way up, allowing us to know what we're going to be spending on the business in our supply chain. From here, we also know the projection, which allows us to be able to send a forecast to our suppliers literally at the click of a button. In August, I will be raising an order to you for 16 units, 1632. This takes into account any minimum order quantities that we have in play. For any of you that order from the Far East, they are always wanting more. So these two is what I used to send to them. I used to send them that overview, but I also used to send them this one particular item. I will be ordering it from you on the 4th, expecting it on the 22nd, on the 3rd, expecting it on the 23rd, to this quantity at this cost. Right there, firm visibility for your suppliers. Now, ideally, when you go to place the purchase order upon them on that day, they'll say, great, we have the stock in play. We will be able to work towards the lead time. If they can hold it in stock, we are already reducing the risk of a stock out occurring. Of course, we have classified all of our stock. We have ran the data through dashboard exception management, being able to pick up on where our issues are effectively. We forecasted every single item across all locations, across all categories, however you want to break that down. We've made sure the forecasts are now accurate, and where we haven't changed the forecasts, where our suppliers are late, we've been adjusting the stock to make sure we are fully optimized all the way, which then allows us to place the perfect purchase order. That sits right here. Now, for the sake of today's demonstration, as I'm limited to time, we have many functionalities when it comes to procurement, distributing excess stock. If you have multiple locations, we can actually have a look and feel for every single location, and we can balance them out. We've got excess stock over here, but we have a stock out right here. Let's not place order on supplier, and let's flatten all of the excess stock across our base. If we have a distribution center set up, we can create you material transfer orders. We'll be able to see what needs to be distributed to each and every one of our locations that sit underneath the distribution center. But when we're ordering from suppliers, we now know that all of these suppliers are the ones that we need to order from today. We use look forward days. Chinese New Year happens every single year. February, it's just happened. What we can do is we can make sure to bring orders forward. So right now, this order has 102 items on it. However, Chinese New Year is upcoming. If I look forward 45 days now, I've now got 136 items upon this purchase order. Effectively, I've cast a 45-day net into the future. I've brought that demand to me today. I've placed it on this purchase order, reducing the risk of a supplier shutdown affecting me. We could also use this, as I did in a procurement view, to deal with price increases. They happen all the time, especially with the turbulence in the world. We're probably getting hammered with price increases. So it's the 22nd of April today, but my supplier says to me, Sam, in 45 days, I will be increasing your price. If I look forward and grab as much of the stock at the old price as possible, well, then it allows me to grab as much margin and to sort this out with my customers. This is the supplier that I will be ordering from today. I will create this purchase order. Now we can see every single item that needs to be ordered. What you're also seeing is the fact that this one item here is constrained to a minimum order quantity of 600. However, the optimum is only 159. So now we can negotiate at point of purchase order with my supplier. Listen, it's 600. That's far too much. I only need 159. I only need 15. I only need 19. But look, by classification here, I can tell you, actually, if you let me order under MOQ for all of these slow-moving cheap items, I'll double my quantity on the one that drives most margin for us. I don't mind doing that. It drives value to us. And it is as simple as looking at all of our forecasts and downloading this into our ERP. I will open the floor to any questions, but I must just be 1 second. Jamie, if you might take over.
Sure. Do we have any questions from anyone on the call? I just want to see. You can also submit your question on the side panel if you do have. I don't think we have any questions. There we go. There's one. Data source via API. Sam, I think that's speaking to our integration.
That is speaking to the integration. We do. We have integration into ERP One currently, which means we simply plug and play.
Yep, with auto parts being on the roadmap. So the auto parts integration from a Klipboard perspective, that will also be ready during the course of this year. So yes, via API for ERP One, and it will also be via API for auto parts down the line this year. Okay, Natasha's got a question for you, and so does Oliver. I'll let you handle these, Sam.
Okay, let's address Natasha's question first. What's next for Netstock in terms of your AI functionality? Well, of course, we're always investing in artificial intelligence now. What I've showed you today is only a small snippet. We will be bringing in agentic AI. We will be looking at the open source, and maybe even in the future, we might be able to look at real-time lead times. It's all out there on the internet for us to consume.
Great.
I can't see that full question. Is there a way to? Here we go.
Click on it, yeah.
Does it use pack codes or keywords, tags to do gap analysis, range analysis, e.g. minimize and rationalize similar products? In a sense, it can do. It would take a little bit more of a talk around this particular question, but absolutely, we will be able to break down into ranges, into brands. We'll be able to see where our product segmentation isn't quite going right, and we'll be able to bolster. Maybe I haven't answered that question as well as you would like me to, Oliver, so I'd suggest we reach out and go over that in a bit more detail.
Your next one, Sam. What's the complexity of the integration with ERP One? You state plug and play, but what sorts of timeframes for implementation? So I think we can just speak to the timeline when it comes to Netstock implementation.
Yeah, we say it's generally between 4 and 6 weeks. It's a matter of weeks and not months. It's not like an ERP implementation.
How do you handle the irregular sales? Can you take into account transaction quantities to build into forecast wholesale distribution retail industry?
Absolutely. There's much more in terms of the forecasts. We have the ability to reduce high spikes in demand when we stock out as well. We make sure that we don't skew our forecasts into the future. We can remove high sales orders so that we don't skew our forecasts. And even better, a tool that I didn't show today because we might all fall asleep is our newly released demand planning tool, which allows us to have customer forecasts, channel level forecasts, regional forecasts. However you want to be seeing your forecasts at a higher level, we can very much do so.
Great. I don't see any other ones that have come through. Sam, is there any other common questions that you get asked during your demos that you want to potentially answer for the room today in our last few minutes?
You're really putting me on the spot here, Jamie.
What can you tell everyone about our security at Netstock and when it comes to data protection?
That is a great question, because obviously as we start investing into AI, we want to be more and more secure. We do have ISO 27001. Me and Jamie every month have to go through all of these hoops. We have to do many tests. We have to take screenshots of our mobile phones. We have to take screenshots of all of our IT. We are audited every single year. ISO is the very highest level of data security, and that's why we have that certification. And we can certainly share it should that be something that you need for your own internal audits.
Great. I just want to check. I don't think there are any other questions that have come through. I'm going to hand over to Alexis to just wrap things up for us. Thank you so much, Sam.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Jamie. And thank you, everybody, for attending today. I hope you found the session valuable. If you would like to learn any more about Netstock and how it works with Klipboard and the value it can bring to you, please do reach out to your Klipboard account manager and they will facilitate an initial discovery call with the Netstock team. So once again, thank you very much for attending and enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Bye.